binti YUSOF, and the last one is Siti FARHANA binti ROSLAN. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 spread is emotionally challenging for many people, changing day-to-day life in unprecedented ways. All sections of society, including employers and employees, should play a role to protect themselves and each other to help prevent future spread of the diseases. Among the impact that will be discussed are statistic impact on employee, impact on health employee, impact on workforce employee, impact on country, how to reduce on impact for health, how to reduce on impact workforce, and how to reduce on government. We will continue this discussion with our first panel, ANIZA binti MUHAMAD LIZA.
I will start. Our moderator, MYDEEN, is to be thanked for her effort. Good evening, everyone, and Assalamualaikum. My name is ANIZA binti MUHAMAD LIZA. I will start by giving an overview of our discussion. Alright. Coronavirus has become the center of attention and discussion in all areas of life, both elderly and young, since it was first identified in December 2019. COVID-19 is no longer a strange concept to Malaysians all over the world. A total of 36 million fatalities have been documented globally as of October 2020. In Malaysia, 30,504 cases were documented with 141 fatalities. This is quite concerning for a variety of parties, since the number continues to rise on a daily basis. The Malaysian Prime Minister Yap Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has announced the sixth phase of the movement control order, which will run from 10 June 2020 until now. The existence of coronavirus in the nation has had a variety of impacts, such as brought many changes to every employer, labor shortage in the workforce, and lack of job for women. However, there is a solution to reduce all of the impacts. So stay tuned if you want to learn more. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the information and interesting talk. Next, we are going to second panel, Muhammad Irfan Iqbal.
Thank you, Moderator ATIQAH MYSARAH, from the introduction. I would like to thank to all of you, and Assalamualaikum, and a very good evening to all of you. My name is Muhammad Irfan Iqbal bin Zahari, and I'm the Chief Statistician here. And I will talk and present to you about impact on employee in COVID-19 with statistics that were given by me. As we all know that COVID-19 has brought a big impact in the life of employees across the world. And as for our country, we can see that MCO, which is called Movement Control Order, gave a disruption in work-life employees that we can see 2 over 10 Malaysians claiming to be working from home. Majority of them still struggle to cope with the balance of life, inadequacy of home setup when working, and severe loneliness, which is isolation. And from the survey that were made by Ipsos Malaysia, one of the agencies that handles this survey, shown that Malaysia has people working from home than the global average. So from the surveys that we can see here, the work-related changes since the outbreak of the pandemic, with its differentiation with its global and Malaysia. Work from home, we can see that 52% were implemented by global, and Malaysia implement about 65% in the work-related changes. Took leave of absence, the global stated about 30%, and Malaysia around 32%. Reduce the numbers of hours, the global itself implement in 32%, while Malaysia is 41%. Increase the numbers of hours, we can see that 32% were implemented in global, and 38% were implemented by Malaysians. And the left or lost your job, we can see that 50% were interrupted in the global, and Malaysian, which is 70%. So that's all from me about the statistician. Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan, for the information. We are going to the next panel, Muhammad Faris bin Nasri.
Thank you for our moderator and good evening everyone. My name is Muhammad Faris bin Muhammad Nazri. Now it's my turn to talk about the impact on employee health in the COVID-19 pandemic. As we have seen, this coronavirus has brought many changes to every employee. For example, changes from the workplace, the way workers work, and environment around workers while they work. So the most obvious we see is a change of workplace, whether working from home and working in the office. So we cannot expect all the workers who work from home to be in a good health. A lot of probability can happen to these workers in terms of their mental and physical health. We as HR management need to take note of every employee during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we have seen, when every employee must work at home, first of all, we can see the health of the workers will be guaranteed from being infected with coronavirus. This is because they do not deal with outsiders and always safe from all infection. Secondly, the risk of infection among employees can be reduced by not associating with each other with others employees. In addition, employees can also save time because if they are confirmed positive for coronavirus, they will have to be quarantined for 2 weeks or more. This will also affect their monthly salary as they will be taking leave and will not be able to work during the quarantine period. When the monthly salary decrease, the employee has to think about the monthly expenses that need to be incurred. This will cause employees to feel depressed and more likely to experience depression. The effect of this depression will result in suicide and crime that took place as they desperately need money at an immediate rate. Many issues of mental and emotional stress happen to workers during the COVID-19 pandemic. So we as HR management need to think of ways to solve the problem that are happening now. Next, some even had to work in the office physically. For example, such as the manufacturing sector, they had to physically employ their workers. They also belong to the frontline workers. They are at a high risk of being infected with the coronavirus. Although they are aware that the risk of contracting the virus is very high, but they still work to earn a monthly salary to support the family and responsibilities. But one effect they have to face if they become infected is that they will waste time quarantining themselves for a certain period of time. So what I can conclude is that there's workers are willing to fight in this COVID-19 pandemic simply to earn a salary to cover their life and responsibilities. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Faris, for the talk. We are going to next panel. RUZANNA IZZAT BINTI PM HAJA MYDEEN.
Thank you, moderator. Assalamualaikum and a very good day, everyone. My name is RUZANNA, and today I will talk about the impact of COVID-19 on the workforce employment. Next. So, based on the pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia, we know that the human resource management has been affected a lot. So, the three main points that I will explain today. The first is the labor shortage in the workforce. The second is loss of job due to business or company shut down and closed down. And the third is employees unable to find job. We know that the impact of COVID-19 on workforce employee is very important, and the impacts has brought a lot of negative, which is labor shortage in the workforce. Less staffs are coming because they are affected with the crisis, and most people are preferred to work from home. And we know that the interests have been changed because of the situation in the pandemic. And also the impacts of COVID-19 on workforce employment is that managers are dismissing their staffs because there is not much profit to employ staffs, and the businesses are shut down because less people are coming. On top of that, companies are not recruiting fresh graduates. And when this happens, the employees are unable to find job. It is not easy for them to find job because they have to fit into other work which is not in their interest. For example, like Grab or online business for survival. We know that we cannot live in this world without a job or without a purpose. So they try to, for example, the human resource managers change their job scope to Food Panda services or Grab due to lack of job available. So these are the impacts of COVID-19 on the workforce employment, which is the labor shortage in the workforce, loss of job due to company shutdown, and employees unable to find job. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosanna. We are going to next panel, Rabiatul Adawiyah binti Ghazali.
Right. Right. Thank you to moderator. And I will continue about the impact of pandemic COVID-19 to country. And then next, alright, the first one is impact on employees in country, which is number one, lack of job for women. So here we can see they lost their jobs since company had put limitation to give priority on men to remain in company as a workers. And number two had been rising poverty rates, which is massive job losses, shrinking of economies, and loss of livelihoods. So next, okay, for the next slide, we can see gender poverty caps due to pandemic COVID-19. It's clearly COVID-19 will contribute to the worsening of gender poverty gaps. So we can see here the statistics starting from for men before COVID-19, 195 million, and for men latest adjusted forecast is 221 million, and for women before COVID-19 is 206 million, and then for women the latest one is 232 million. So women and men had been living in poverty starting until 2030. And then next is the impacts of pandemic to country. I will highlight it 3 points, which number one, essential items shortage, which is people tend to buy through panic buying and hackers lack of essential items like rice, flour, and many more. And number two is shrinking economies, which is border closures make trade or logistical activity difficult. And number three, the last one is a factory closure hackers payroll deductions, which is on to 28 January 2021. Senior Minister Security, this is MYDEEN, announced that the Malaysian government would temporarily close next slide. Factories and business premises that fail to comply with the standard operating procedures on COVID-19 prevention in response to outbreaks among migrant workers. So next, we can see the graph. Crisis hit Malaysia's economic hard. So that's all from me. I will pass to moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rabiatul, for the interesting talk. Next, we are going to the next panel, Nur Atika binti Muhammad Nasir.
Okay. Okay, it's mine. Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. Thank you, MYSARAH, as moderator for today's MENA. My name is Nur Atika binti Muhammad Nasir. I will talk about how to reduce the impact of pandemic COVID-19 on employee health. Next. Table of content, provide incentive to employees, mental health awareness, and promote wellness to employers. Next. Okay. First is provide incentive to employees. To work from home, employees have to provide equipment at home such as a laptop or PC, office equipment, printer, and also a stable internet connection in order to do their work effectively. This will cost a lot of money to prepare it. By giving an incentive like money or give a laptop to an employee, it can help to create a conducive workplace at home, which can lead to reduce the risk for the employee to get a mental or physical problem. For example, employees who have children are most effective. They just not spend their expenses to buy for themselves, but also for their children who have PDPR. which is online learning. If they cannot afford to provide for both, they need to share the equipment like laptop with their children. So by giving incentive, it can reduce their burden and avoid them getting stressed, which can give impact to mental health condition. By incentive, it also can reduce physical health by employee by a good and comfortable desk or chair to do their tasks. Next. Next is mental health awareness. Employees have responsibility in healthcare of employers. For example, a employer can planning a mental health awareness day program once a month. Employee can call a counselor to give a talk about mental health, like a symptom of what to do if face a mental illness like depression, loneliness, or burnout. And also, the counselor also can teach about emotional management. Employer also can ask employee condition like how they feel today and also advise their employee who affected and also who need emotional support and counseling to seek a help. For example, call Help Ministry for social support hotline. Next. And lastly is promote wellness to employers. Employers have to take a part in promote wellness to employees, such as encourage employer to exercise and lead to a healthy lifestyle. Employer also should be creative. For example, do a program like exercise at home together once a month by using Zoom or Google Meet. Exercise can help to relieve stress and avoid loneliness by interact with other employees. They also can be fun by doing a with a family member. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the information. Next, we are going to the next panel. Nur Shafiqah Hazwani binti Cik Zainuddin.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. I will talk about how to reduce impact workforce during pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. Next slide. Okay, for your information, many of workers was fired because employee cannot pay them and the employee who is still working has to accept the pay cut implemented by his employee. Now, employee can work again as before, but employee need to care about their employees. So as employee need focus on organizing a safe work environment like purchase of medical equipment and supplies. Uh, and second, share the up-to-date and relevant information about COVID-19 symptoms and disease prevention recommendation among company employee like use only credible sources, which is where organization if someone foreign business have already reviewed their sick leave policy, so they are need provide for a temporary absence from work during to illness. As employee, ensure effective communication with employee is important. Okay, so remember to think of the future. Thanks. I give to moderator.
Thank you. We are going to the next panel. Nur Yasmin Anikah binti Muhammad Yusuf.
Thank you, moderator, and good evening to everyone. I will talk about how to reduce the impact of COVID-19 on government. The next, the first point, the first step is overnight policy rate decline. The income tax and public project development should be decreased by the government to determine the interest rate of their financial loan services to borrower. The lower loan interest rate, the faster economy can recover as well as more jobs can be created for the workers. My second point is aid fund establishment initiative are not working for people that don't have any works to strengthen the country job through the searching portal by the NGO. We can also empowering the digital economy like an online business because during the pandemic, some of the worker work from home. The third point is the government needs to identify infrastructure development or rehabilitation project. The investment is very important to move the economy, and it can also help the government to create job opportunities to young people. The last part is government need to work with regional and international countries to form a supply chain and create a relationship with another country by by selling or import and export national products or needs to be more systematic system. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Yasmin. We are going to the last panel, Siti Nur Farhana binti Roslan.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Nur Farhana binti Roslan. So I would like to conclude impact on employee in pandemic COVID-19 in Malaysia. So the conclusion is COVID-19 has emerged as one of the pandemic health menace. Next, this pandemic disease is worsening this country situation. The country get hampered both in terms of health and economics, and then this may relate to the virus genetic, vulnerable population characteristic, population behavior, and the country response to the crisis. And then we presented here Malaysia challenge and respond to the epidemic in the hope of sharing our experience that can be learned for others. Next, Malaysia as developing country with limited resource face mounting challenge in responding to the crisis. And lastly, however, with good cooperation between government agencies and the public, the country managed to overcome the first whole wave of the epidemic. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end part of our presentation. We would like to say thanks again to all panel for the informative and interesting talk and to audience for the participation. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Last, thank for your attention.